You're listening to the Salty Sex Cast with Pamela and Mariah.
Yeah, and what's puberty?
The sex education you wish you had in high school.
Maybe a diagram will help.
Hello. I was so excited. I was like uber excited to say hello today.
Oh, good.
I don't know.
It's going to be a good episode.
Excitement. Why is this off? What's going on with our audio? Is this me? Is it me that's all crazy? That's okay.
No,
I'm
you're
so sorry.
fine.
I was just so excited. I made love to the mic, and it showed on our audio.
Who are you, Mariah?
I'm Mariah. My name's Mariah. Hello.
Trying to get us on track here.
Mariah is the co-host of Salty Sex Cast. Anyway, I am I almost had a registered something, but it's not. I'm certified health and
Whoa.
We might have to start over.
No, I think this goes live.
This goes live. I told you guys I'm not editing shit, so we're not editing it anymore. All right.
You're a certified what?
Health education specialist and a board certified health and wellness coach. And I own Balance Your Wellness. I just needed to put on my professional voice. That's really what it was.
Yeah.
You did it.
I did it. I did it like a big girl. But I'm Mariah. I'm the brunette in the photos. So if you only know us from our photos, then you know who I am.
And I'm Pamela. I'm the other one.
She's the gorgeous, curly-haired redhead.
And I co-own Silk and Salt Photography, which is a boudoir photography studio located here in Ogden,
I think that's
Utah.
incorrect. You forgot award-winning.
Oh yeah, we are an award-winning boudoir studio, and we're booked out now through middle of March. So
just add a
Doing
few
really
weeks
well.
every single time when you say it. Like
Really,
even if you
like-
tell someone 5 minutes later, say, "Oh, now we're booked out till May." Oh no! I'm just kidding. It'd be hilarious.
It's been kind of crazy because since COVID hit, our business has just boomed, and
All it took was the world almost ending for people to get sexy.
exactly.
Not that we're putting that out into the universe or anything. Brady, our
she's
producer who manages and owns Murder Shack Studios that we are in tonight.
Aw.
In case, you needed an intro. Just a little one.
Do I need a little one?
Itty bitty. Go ahead.
Well, I'm Brady, and I operate the studio, Murder Shack Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, Brady.
Thanks, Brady.
You're welcome.
And you're in polyamorous relationship?
Oh yeah, we're talking about our personal lives too. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I am married to 3 people because I'd be crazy.
So I was just saying that out loud, and I was like, "You're in polyamorous relationships or relationship? Like,
Yeah.
what's the plural in that sentence?
I think
it's
Poly
relationships. Yeah.
Relation I.
I am in polyamorous relationships. That's awkward. I've never said that before.
That's why I was like, "Ew, I don't like saying."
I
that.
usually just say I'm polyamorous and I have 3 partners.
that simplifies it
It's so
way
much
more. I just
easier.
need to not introduce you anymore, and we'll be fine. Anyway, today, Pamela, we are flirting.
Ooh, hey Mariah.
Hey, Pamela. Yeah. Ooh, I like the wink and the click. The tongue click just woo-hoo, sent chills down my spine. I love it. How do you flirt?
It just oozes out of me. I can't control it. It's just a part of my being.
Yeah, I feel like every time I open my mouth, it's kind of somewhat flirtatious, but really it's a very much I'm selling myself to you. I've got something you want.
Yeah.
I do. No matter who you are. If it's just attention, if it's just a smile, if it's just a compliment, I don't know. But every time I'm like, yeah, I'm going to give that to you. Or I'm not, but I'm going to make you want it. That's what a flirt is to me.
Yeah.
You're a self-seller.
I am.
Yeah.
Self-promoter.
Self-promoter. Nice.
So how does one start a flirt? How do you convey to the other person that that's what you're trying to do? Is flirt with them.
I like to hit somebody, like if I was in a club or a bar or something and I was single and I thought someone else was single, I might just wink from across the room. Like if it,
What were you going to say? Hit somebody
I'll hit somebody with a wink.
Oh, with the wink.
I'll hit somebody.
Slap someone on their ass as they walk by.
No, that's not how you flirt.
No, we'll
That's
get
how
to
you
that.
end up in jail.
We will definitely get the.
Or on YouTube.
Oh,
getting your ass beat.
I really think it's the how depends on the why.
And the
why
where.
are you flirting? Where are you flirting? Is it in the workplace? Is it at the bar where you're typically picking up someone? Or is it like over a podcast? Am I flirting with our listeners or not? They don't even know. I don't know. I was just trying to think of something way out of there. But yeah, like it's really the why. Like, what are you trying to get from that situation and having to think from that. But let's go to the more traditional reason people flirt. To pick up on somebody.
Yeah, find
right?
somebody to date or have sex with.
Yeah. Or just get, maybe even attention. It's like, hey, we're in an airport bar and we're going in separate ways in like 30 minutes, but I'm going to flirt the fuck out of you.
Sometimes there is a little bit of that. Like you have a moment where like it's not going to go anywhere, but it sure feels good that you have the ability to like get that reaction from somebody in a short time.
I think what ties all those things together is the validation.
Validation.
Ooh,
yeah.
there you go. Pamela's got the overarching umbrella that's on our flirt storm right now. I'm okay.
Kind of on one tonight.
I told you I'm bringing the energy.
Yeah.
I had a protein shake. That's all I needed.
Yeah. She had her pre-workout. Or are you going to start calling it a pre-flirt out?
Sure.
Pound
I gotta down this powder right here to get my flirt on right now.
Okay, so we kind of talked about the why. So how do you start? What do you do?
It's always some type of eye contact. I think it's got to start with like,
Eye contact is key.
yeah, because you can't just be like, "Hey, lady," and not look at you.
Yeah.
Like I starts,
But
with
it's
eye
not just eye contact, right? There's like some kind of energy behind the eyes when you're flirting. Like when I'm really excited about somebody, it's
a twinkle.
My eyes are like sparkling.
You kind of put a face on? It's because it's not just in the eyes too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
No,
that
it's
facial
true.
expression.
Yeah, it's true. Like I would say like I'm doing a lot more smiling
Yeah.
than normal.
Or even smiling with your eyes, because
And
a lot of
smiling.
us have masks on these days.
Mateusz calls that smizing.
Smizing? Smiling with your eyes?
Smizing. I
Smizing.
think so.
That's
And
going
that's
in
my
the
photographer.
Thank you, Mateusz. That's going in the glossary.
Smize. Smile with the eyes.
Yeah, I think it definitely how you look at somebody, that eye contact, because there's a way you can hold your eyes. If you're kind of looking down and looking at them like from the corner of your eye a little bit.
Yeah.
You're not like straight on, stare down contest.
That's
I'm
a wrong way to do it.
Gonna eat your soul kind of thing. Yeah, no, that's a threat. That's
Yeah.
not a validation. But it's just kind of like, oh, you caught my eye, sir.
Yeah.
I'm giving you guys the eyes for sure.
Yeah, you
tonight.
are.
Do you feel that energy?
I feel it.
Definitely
I think
feel
that's
it.
why I'm all pumped up. You guys are flirting with me. It just makes me feel so good and validated.
How do you know we're flirting back though?
Ooh, that's a good one. Because I have to say, I'm also a super friendly person. Like like if you want to talk to me, I'm like, yeah, let's be friends. Doesn't mean I'm accepting your flirt. If you're like flirting with me,
Yeah.
and I'm reciprocating being kind or just friendly. So that
do
I
you
think
tell
is
the difference?
I think that's the part that really is tough for everyone. Even myself, I'm like, oh, did I just lead that person on? Oops, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. I was just trying to be nice. So yeah, you have to really kind of, it's a dance. It's a lay it out there, take a step back. Don't keep putting it out there and pushing it, because then that kind of gets a little aggressive.
Nobody wants a pity flirt.
Ew. Yeah. Oh, and you hear those girls that deal with it, and I would say majority of women deal with it, and they kind of give you that like laugh.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that mechanical laugh.
That's a sign.
You're funny, but you're also
then
freaking me out.
They'll sort of like put a hand on your shoulder and then like kind of, they don't push you away, but they'll step back and extend their arm
well,
at the
because
same
they
time.
step back as they're
Yeah.
extending their arm, because if they step back, most of the time the men will follow.
Right.
It's like, no, 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 no.
It's a pretty common mistake guys make, is not realizing when it's not welcome.
Shut it down. Yeah,
Yeah.
how to shut it down. Oh, we're going to talk about a lot of fun things. So to start a flirt, smile. You're kind of got that twinkle in your eyes. You're kind of, doing, it's not a glare.
Eye
It's not
contact.
like, it's a, yeah.
And it's
And then-
also about like pausing and listening too, because if you're flirting with someone, you're just like talking, you're not showing that you're really interested in them. You're showing that you want them to be interested in you.
That's huge. One thing I learned as a dude who fumbled a ton of flirting experiences is being able to engage in a conversation, figure out something they're interested in, and then like following up with questions.
Yes.
You like to sell a boat? What's that like?
Well-
Explain these knots to me. And
Will you tie me up with these knots?
if they're into boats, talk about boats.
Yeah.
But let
Well-
them talk about boats.
And you're pausing long enough to get a read on their body language. Are they
Yes.
accepting the flirt? Are they throwing it back at you? It's like playing catch.
Yes.
So one of
Because-
the tricks I learned back in the day was to look at their feet.
Which direction they were pointing.
Look at their feet.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I have found myself
I like that.
when I want to make an escape and I don't like who I'm talking
start to turn.
my head is turned toward the person, my body is turned
Yeah.
away.
And it starts at the feet. Like you can like you almost watch. It's like watching a slinky or whatever. Just sort of kind of like twist away. Like the feet will twist, then the hips, then the shoulder. It's a funny
You're like,
move.
my face is still facing you because I have to.
I have to.
But
It'd be
I really
rude.
want to leave right now.
And yeah, they'll take a step back or to the side. They're moving. They really are. Yeah, like they're making their exit plan for sure. How do you accept a flirt?
I think one thing for sure that should probably be said, because in preparation for this episode, we looked up some flirt fails, is accepting a flirt from a guy. Girls have to be a little bit more obvious than they think they should be.
because you always think we're flirting with you,
Guys,
right?
yeah. Or we think we have no chance. And we'll just sort of like, oh, yeah, no, I appreciate that. But I'm sure I'm making you uncomfortable, and we'll just slowly drift away.
So two sides of that spectrum, two sides of that coin.
Yeah.
You're
The
saying.
overconfidence and the underconfidence
Yeah, well, I think,
on the part of the man.
yeah, on the part of the guy. I think guys are either, I'm not every single guy, but most guys are, we're either 0 or 100.
Do you flirt differently with women?
I was just thinking that. I'm like, I so flirt differently with women. I am now the flirtatious one, where men, it's a little bit more, I kind of play the, oh, you can chase me, instead of me being like the
You're-
aggressor, I
You're
guess.
the aggressor when it comes to women? Interesting.
A little bit more. It's also really funny because I don't know if you've ever seen that meme going around where it's like a lesbian. It's like lesbians really struggle to flirt with other women because it's just like, hey, I like those pants. I want to get in those pants, something like that. And the one girl's like, oh my God, thank you. I got them on sale. It's like so, it's like, just when you hear a compliment from another woman, it's so hard to be like,
Was it just a girly compliment, or was it?
Right.
or is it just a
Well,
very genuine?
I feel like we flirt with each other all the time as women. And how do you
Forever.
differentiate what the intention is? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think you can definitely tell with women straight off if they're flirting or if it's like a very like empty compliment that they're just trying to play nice. But when it's a genuine compliment and flirting, how do you differentiate that one? For sure. Because then it's like, oh, Pamela, your hair is so cute. And you can tell that I don't like, when I say it like that, is it very genuine? I'm not
But
flirting.
even if it's a genuine compliment, I don't know if you're
It's
trying
a
to get in
flirt.
my pants unless you are really specific
So, yeah, like
about your flirting.
Yeah, so it's like I almost like open the flirt with like a little compliment or something, funny. But then it gets increasingly sexual. But what's really shitty about my personality is everything is sexual.
I was just going to ask, do you slowly ramp it up, or is it just like automatically, do you have that 0 to 60
I
problem?
have that 0 to 60, and that's how you know it's not flirting.
Yeah.
When I'm like, hey, Brady, nice pants. Like,
Right.
Just
or
comes out of left field.
It does. If I'm kind of like, I'm turning up nice and slow at a good, like, whatever, that that's probably a flirtation. But if it's just like, out of nowhere, or if it's just like, oh, hey, you gave me a smile, so I'm like, hey, want to fuck later? You know it's me just being me funny. I also just realized I use a lot of humor to flirt. A lot of humor to flirt.
yeah.
And now we don't know if we should take you serious or not. Is she being funny or is she trying to fuck me?
And that's the
Funny or
that's
fuck
the
me?
fun
Funny
in
or fuck me?
it.
I don't know.
That's the pleasure in it all for me.
It's funny that you have, because you guys said that it's difficult to know when that compliment has could become a flirt, because Jamie has told me several times when we meet women for our whatever, she's been like, yeah, I don't know how to flirt with girls. It's a good thing you're there. And so I end up doing the flirting, and then they just sort of like enjoy the rewards of all the work.
It's such a common thing. I hear that from so many women, especially bisexual women, who are used to flirting with men, but have just like discovered their interest in women, or finally felt like it was
new.
okay. It was when it's still new, it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
There's a meme floating around right now about a girl like texting a girl that she likes, and the other girl doesn't quite get it because she's not sure, and then she ends up with a dude at the end. It's a sad meme.
Oh,
I'll find it and I'll put it on our Twitter.
how do you flirt with men, Brady?
I mean, guys are easy, aren't they? Nice dick, bro.
But what if I'm just genuinely
What if you
giving
can't
someone
see his dick, Brady?
Oh, then I'm not flirting.
nice grape
guess.
sweatpants?
You have
don't
to
know.
get his pants down
So-
before you flirt with him.
So when Jamie and I have talked to men in the past, it's literally like, we know what we're looking for. So like, send me a picture of it, and if I like it, we'll continue talking. And if I don't,
Seriously?
we'll end the conversation now. Yeah.
Is the way the dick looks that important?
Is it dick or just a whole body?
Well, I
What do
mean, I'm just using a dick as the extreme example, but it's
Okay.
like, let's exchange some photographs, and if I don't find you attractive, we end the conversation now.
But typically you start with a personality. You're not just like picking
Sure.
random folks. Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, we don't flirt with guys very often, but when we do, that's kind of my MO is like, well, let's have a look at you, and if I want to continue talking after that, we will.
Make sure it won't do too much damage. Got to size that one up. I'm just kidding.
No, that doesn't concern me, but it's just sort of like, am I going to be like interested in seeing you with less clothing on?
But have you ever met anyone organically, not online, that you flirted with?
Yeah.
Men, I mean.
Yeah, well, but it never went anywhere, so I don't know if we were really flirting or not. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But I wasn't necessarily trying for it to go anywhere, but he said a couple things where I was like, hey, wait a minute. I have been hit on in gay bars, and it's pretty blunt. Guys,
How do they hit on you?
nice ass. I mean, I've been, or like they'll just walk over and get a drink, and like, how many of these will it take to get you drunk? Or like, I mean, it's been pretty blunt.
I've been hit on by gay women, and it is also very blunt.
Do you think it has to be blunt though because of that like bisexual flirting with girls conundrum?
Now that I think about it, that's
to
probably
just be blunt.
that's probably exactly why they acted that way. But they were aggressive. Like I've had women get
Blunt and aggressive is slightly different.
they've been like in my face. You are so pretty.
Were they drunk?
One of them was, and the other
Maybe.
that I'm thinking about wasn't. I know there have been others, but there were like two that were super aggressive. One was at a New Year's Eve party, and she would, like, I couldn't shake her. I had to wait until one of my friends came and, like, basically rescued me from the conversation. And then the other one was when I was much younger in line at the DMV. You can't get out of that fucking line.
No.
Right.
Because no one wants to go to the back of the line and start over. And yeah, she was really aggressive too, but it was like in public at a DMV, so she let it go pretty quickly.
The more I think about the experiences I had where I was in a situation where men would hit on me too, is like they did stuff that, like, if I did that in a flirting situation with a woman, I'd go to jail. Like they'll walk up and just cup an ass.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's totally different when it's the same gender.
Well, and
Maybe that bluntness has to be there.
Different in the scenario. I mean, if you're at a gay bar and getting your ass squeezed is one thing. If you're alone with a coworker in a room getting your ass squeezed, that's an aggressive attack.
That's assault,
sure.
brother.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like what's okay and what's, it really is situational. You have to judge the environment. Yeah. You have to kind of see, like you said, you were in a DMV, so it was somewhat safer. It was public versus a New Year's Eve party where it's a party.
Yeah.
Where drinking, where
Maybe
some people go off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Never corner your prey, guys.
God, no. You stand in the corner and you let them stand with their, that's what I hate.
Give them an escape route.
Yeah, don't corner your prey because that puts that sort of like defense mode up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would not find that attractive at all.
Yeah.
So what do you do when someone's flirting with you and you're just like, absolutely no?
What do I do?
I just go, ew, no, apparently. I didn't
Tell us that story again.
I
that was way back.
Yeah, that was I think episode maybe 2 or 3 or something, but I still feel kind of bad about it. I was just walking into a gas station talking with my friend and totally in my own little world, not really paying attention, but understanding someone's walking exactly into my direction. And as soon as I finally look up and make eye contact, he's within, an arm's length from me. And he's like, oh, hey, or hey, baby, or something. I don't know. I was so distracted.
Okay,
It really was
if he said,
hard.
hey, baby,
Yeah.
you should not feel bad about your response at all.
Well, either way, it was just it was very gross and aggressive. It really was. And I was so taken aback that I was like, ew, no. Really loudly. And then I had then we made a few more paces the other direction. So now there's more space in between us. I just fucking bust out laughing. So I was like, I can't believe I was so aggressive back. But then at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm okay being that aggressive to that aggressive. I met that aggressive.
He needs that lesson.
Yeah. I'm sure he's gotten that lesson a few times. And he's like, it's still power thing.
It's
but
probably worked. The problem is it's probably worked once. Guys,
That's all it takes.
I can admit from my perspective and knowing what I know about myself and other men that I've hung out with, it's legitimate hey, that worked. Now I'm going to do it every time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Guys, one thing you should know
Situational.
if you're texting over flirt or flirting over text, instead of sending a dick pic, send a picture of your dog.
Oh, it's so true. That's way more effective.
Yeah, flirting over text is really fun. There's so many tools you have now. You have memes, you have GIFs, you have smiley faces.
Emojis?
Yeah, if somebody sends me an eggplant, I'm pretty sure I know that they're flirting with me. But how do you do it
what if they
in
like
a fun
eggplant?
way? Oh my God. What if they, I want fun. Fun, flirty, silly. I'm such a silly flirter too.
So
I'm a goober.
I've recently made a friend and I've been hanging out with him and his wife, and he always teases me about, you should flirt with my wife. You should flirt with my wife. She loves it. And so I do. I flirt with her constantly, and I text her at one point, and her nickname is Turtle Dove. And he calls her T for short. But I sent her a text, and I sent him a text, and I was like, hey, let me know how Turtle Dove is, but I replaced the word turtle and dove with the emoji of the turtle and the dove. And he was like, dude, fuck you, man. She loved that so much. Now I feel like an ass and I can never do it because you did it first. Fuck.
So careful when you ask other people to flirt with other people because they might be better at it than you.
You hear that, Ian? You hear that?
That's so funny. How, yeah, and it's fun to flirt. It doesn't even have to be for a reason. It's not just to close.
Yeah.
It's just, fun too. But
I didn't get to say how I let people know I'm not flirting back.
Oh yeah, what's your thing?
My thing is just deadpan stare face or
RBF.
I feel like from you would be pretty aggressive.
Resting bitch face. No, I am not.
Well, you're not an aggressive person, but when you give that blank slate stare, it's kind of
intimidating.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also a little bit of your mad face or annoyed face.
Yeah, for sure.
These markers smell.
I let them know through body language and definitely facial expression that I am not fucking interested in what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they need to back off. Or, now I feel like I've grown enough confidence to just be able to just look at someone and turn around and walk away. I don't owe them my time. They can keep talking, but I don't have to listen.
I've straight up shaking my head at someone, like from across the bar, like giving me eyes and stuff. And I was like, yo, my husband's standing right next to me, but you can't tell because we were kind of in a big group and my husband was talking to everybody else. But like, I like smiled because someone's looking at me and I don't want to just look angry, but I didn't realize that smile was inviting a flirt. So he kept like giving me like the nod and like raising his eyebrows. And so I just kind of deadpanned him and just gave him a very slight shake of the head, like not interested, and then turned my body around. So now I wasn't even like looking in his direction anymore.
Do you feel like you got the message?
Oh yeah. I mean, if not, I didn't look back to be like, oh, I'm playing hard to get now and I'm just seeing if you noticed. You know, I really wanted to make sure like I was consistent with my messaging too.
Yeah.
Once I take it back, it's not back on the table.
Sure.
I don't like that. Like, I don't find that attractive when
The whole cat mouse bullshit.
Well, it's specifically like I don't like it when men like raise their eyebrows at me from across the room and like do the little head thing multiple times. Maybe once is fine, but then you need to make your fucking move or just go away.
It's because he didn't notice if you reciprocated or not because you were not obvious enough for you, Brady, huh? That's the messaging. It's like, yeah, oh my God.
So when I was,
fuck off.
I have to touch my boobs now.
I read a little bit about like the pickup community where they actually like train people who are uncomfortable meeting women, how to meet women and how to like walk up and talk to them. And like what I learned in doing that was, I didn't take the class, but I just like read a random book someone gave me, was when you make eye contact with somebody, if you decide you're interested in that person, you have 3 seconds at that point to walk over. Like you can't wait because otherwise it makes you
Look weak.
sort of, it makes you look weak or disinterested. And so you have to like go for it.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's a very short time to make a decision about whether you want to approach
3 seconds to at least start that initiative. Because what if you're in the middle of like buying your drink and then you're at the bar and they're in the middle of buying a drink with another bartender and then you're like, yeah, we're just going to ditch our drinks because I'm sorry, I'm picking that drink over someone I don't know yet.
Well, I mean, I think the situation is fair, but like if you walk into a room and you like survey the room and, oh, she's cute.
So if you're in a party mingling, that's
Sure.
kind of, I mean, it's a very quick opportunity.
And then don't linger.
No. There's also a point where you kind of have to come and then wait. Wait for them to reciprocate. And if they're not, back the fuck away. Don't keep pushing it.
Yeah. You can't be overly aggressive.
Do you like it when people like strangers approach you
Depends.
in a public place?
It's never, there's sometimes that it's just, there's very few times that it was just such a genuine, like I was like, yeah, I actually really enjoyed that. And they stick with me, but more often than not, they're really creepy.
Yeah, I think they have to have something super special or original, like a valid reson
And
to talk
genuine.
to me.
And not,
Genuine's really important.
yeah, because if you're, I did not pick up on hints for a long time because I thought just everyone who was talking to me was flirting with me, because that's kind of like, I mean, if you look at the history of my teenage years and stuff, it was very much so like that. So then once I was younger, 20 years old, I actually nannied for a family that the dad ended up like, in his words, falling in love with me, and I had no clue. I was fucking oblivious because I was like, oh, I can totally have a relationship with an adult married man, especially when I'm watching your child. Yeah, you can text me and ask me about, like very like, hey, did you shop for dinner? Or, it was never like, how are you doing today? I haven't seen you in a minute. That's flirting, right? Like those ones are a little bit more intimate questions. I just gave him the exact same level of friendship that I gave the mother of that family.
Yeah.
And he took it so far and beyond. So he completely misread me. I was so blindsided the day he professed his love to me.
Oh, shit.
And immediately called the mom of that family and was like, I am so uncomfortable. This is happening. I want you to know I have not done anything. I have not even tried to lead him on like this. I was so confused. she was so hurt by the whole situation, just fired me then and there. It was really, really sad. I mean, we are now friends, 10 years later and have reconnected, and she apologized for that whole situation. They are no longer married because this was a consistent thing that happened. But
even if she hadn't have fired you, like, you probably would have left at that point on your own,
I was
wouldn't you?
So uncomfortable. And I was so blindsided, but I was like, okay, for a year, apparently I have been flirted with and not known. But so it really just made me really protect any conversation anytime I interacted with a male, because I was like, oh my God, they all want something from me. There's all an intention for me to lead them wrong. And so it was so hard. I feel like I couldn't even call or text another male, especially if I was in a relationship, because I'm like, because God forbid, like Brady and I were probably the first male-female friendship I had that I was very secure that this was a really close friendship.
People probably wouldn't believe it.
No, they
Like,
would look at us and definitely think there was other things going on. But I mean, we are flirtatious by nature too.
Yeah.
Sure.
But we both understand that we're both on the same level of that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I grew up thinking that every man wanted to get in my pants.
Yeah.
I mean, from the time, but
that's how they treated us.
My father also like ingrained that in me.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that's the training from church, right?
One thing. Yeah, and
I was put on this earth for the temptation. I am the apple.
Yeah. You need to cover yourself up because otherwise I won't be able to control myself.
yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and but you also get, because I was kind of cute from a young age. Like I developed at a fairly young age, and so I started getting attention from men, men, at age 13. So you start getting that feedback, and you're like, oh, that is what they, that's all they want from me. Everybody's flirting with me. I have to constantly keep my guard up. And so you just have to know that there are a lot of women who were raised that way or who think that way. And to disarm them is going to be really fucking hard, especially if you're strangers, I'm much more comfortable if somebody makes an introduction and can vouch for someone.
Well, you've got to be genuine about your intentions if you're going to introduce yourself to a stranger, because you don't know if they've experienced trauma or abuse.
Yeah.
Well, so I kind of going back where you said vouch for that person. It's where like my husband flirts with almost every time we go out and we have like a waitress. Like he's just really funny. It's like, it's never bothered me because I know that it's just a friendly thing.
Yeah.
Validating maybe a person. But it's funny because how much he gets flirted back because I'm with him. I have vouched for this as a safe person.
That's a good point.
Just by being there?
Just by being there.
That's funny. I never thought about that because I do the same thing. I flirt with every waitress. I'm mostly trying to get their shirt. Because when you go to restaurants and stuff, they have really cool shirts. I always just want.
Oh, you want a free restaurant T-shirt?
Yeah, bring me your shirt, but
not the shirt that they're wearing on their body.
No, just one out of the back room.
Because that didn't make sense.
No, it didn't.
Just the one out of the back room. But now that I think about it, that if I was in a group of guys, because it used to be something we would do, was try to flirt out of like restaurant paraphernalia. But now that I've been with my wife, I feel like I have a better success rate at getting a shirt.
Well, there are also so many women who really want to be with married men or men who are already taken. I don't really understand what that's about.
Well, because that like on the deep down like subconscious, you have vouched that person's a good person. They're good enough to be partnered with you. They're good enough to be partnered with anyone else. So it's really, that's why I think, on subconscious level, people who are taken typically seem a little bit more attractive.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, makes sense.
But on to flirtation. How do you accept it? What else have we gone through? How do you not flirt?
I don't know.
How do you not flirt?
So you can't just, you can't be too flirty. Like there has to come a point where you've got to pull back a little bit, because otherwise the person that you're flirting with feels like they've won and you're now a toy. So I've learned in my experience that if you pull back just a little bit, and they
kind of letting them crave a little bit more.
Yeah, if
they're like, hold on, I wanted that.
If they close that gap,
it back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If they close that gap and they come back towards you when you sort of like take that step back, I used to do it with backhanded compliments.
But then that's also a good time to
Which
see
is
if they're going to
terrible.
reciprocate too. If they're still interested, it's that pause again too.
Yeah. That's part of it. But guys need to know that they can't, like, walking up to somebody and grabbing them is not a flirt.
Or hey baby.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
I
don't know.
can't think of I was trying to think about it of like a time that it would be okay to touch somebody for a flirt. And I was thinking, I had a girl come up to me one time. We were actually at work. I was working at Lagoon, and like I was speaking publicly, and she sort of like worked her way around the crowd after making eye contact. And then when she got in close enough and I wasn't speaking public anymore, she just sort of like took my hand and was like, "You look really cute up there." And then like let my hand go. And then I was like, we ended up dating, right? I was like, oh okay. Yeah. But I was just trying to think, like, as a man, like if I were to circle around the room, even if it was like a loud club or something, I don't think, maybe touch your elbow. Do you want another drink? Or, I don't know. I can't think of a time that it would be okay for me to just touch a stranger.
Yeah, if you are going to, though, it needs to be below the elbow.
Like a forearm touch.
Like studies have shown.
And very, very quick.
People feel more trusting
And
of
soft.
people who do touch them, but it needs to be in a really neutral.
Does it need to be
place.
above the wrist but below
I'll
the
tell
elbow?
you what, I've
Because I feel like a
tipped
handhold.
servers more when they've gone, hey, how can I help you?
Yeah.
What can I get for you today? When they've just barely lightly tapped me on the forearm.
And our Patreons can see it, but the rest of you can't. Mariah reached out and just sort of like touched Mariah
Pamela,
as she
you
said
can
that.
tip me later.
I feel like probably between the elbow and wrist is
Yeah.
the way to go for a first contact touch with a stranger. And then if you get a lot of positive feedback, move to a shoulder.
Very, very lightly 3-finger touch, guys. Like, because you can easily be aggressive by like
don't
grabbing
grab.
with
Yeah.
or like even like shoving or
Oh,
something.
yeah,
Like
that's not-
I've been shoved
Yeah.
to get my attention
Me
before,
too.
and I was like, I'm oblivious for a reason. I was trying to ignore you. You creep. Go the fuck away.
So what if you're still flirting on a first date though? Because like I feel like a first date
You
turns into
should
like
flirt
lower back.
forever.
Well, yeah, but I'm
But
talking
you're
about
just
stepping up
asking-
in levels.
Yeah.
So like a first date's a lower back touch. Like
Lower
if
back
if I
or
wanted your
hand?
attention, I could touch your hand or your lower back.
Tickle their neck.
Tickle their neck.
No. We'll come back to
Yeah,
this
let's talk
story.
about an inappropriate touch.
We're going to talk about this now, apparently. So how not to flirt.
Well, we talked about it a little bit, guys. Don't corner your prey. Don't back them into a corner. You wanna allow them to feel like they can escape if they need to. One of the things that I didn't realize till Jamie and I started flirting with other women online was how terrified women are to go out in public and be kidnapped and molested and put in a sex dungeon or
We're
just end up
thinking
dead.
about it all the time.
It's
Yeah.
it's not even physical danger, it's emotional danger. It's a heightened thing. It's a big thing. Yeah. So I would say, if you're trying to attempt to flirt with somebody, give it 2 tries and then done. If you're not getting anything back, it's like, hey, I winked at you or smiled at you from afar. You didn't do anything. So then I kind of like give you another look and nothing back. Stop.
You're done.
You're
Yeah,
done.
Don't walk over.
No.
Mariah, are you trying to make us forget about your fabulous story?
Okay.
I'm gonna remember it
We're jumping around a little bit today, but that's fine because
to get
I'm
down
all
to
over
our
the place.
fails.
Yeah.
How do you guys shut down a flirt?
Wait, Mariah's
Is
story.
that too far?
No, yeah,
Sorry.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
How not to flirt, Mariah?
How not to flirt.
Tell us.
I think she's saving it for the fails.
Yeah, I'm gonna save it for the fails.
Is that a flirt fail?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a fucking flirt.
Okay.
Flirt.
That was a
Flirt fail.
a flirt fail.
It's so bad.
A
I can't even
flirt is a
talk.
flirting failure. A flirt.
Yeah, flirt.
Dude, I went on that date and I totally flirted.
That needs to go in the dictionary.
I just had to take the mic away. I laughed so hard. I was like, good God, I cackled in everyone's ear. Don't cackle. That's not flirtatious.
no.
Don't go out on your first night and flirt.
Wait, Brady, what were you going to say earlier when I cut you off?
Oh, I don't remember.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
No. That's the fun of doing this. It's the lively conversation is super fun.
How not to.
I was going to ask, how do you guys shut down a flirt? I almost said flirt. How do you guys shut down a flirt?
So I've like literally shaken my head.
Yeah.
There's been
You
times
know.
I'll like There's been times I'll like people drop in your DMs, especially when you're on a podcast about sex, you know,
my
like
God,
you have
it's
to
so
be
ridiculous.
really aggressive back. So it kind of depends on like how aggressive the flirt is to be how aggressive you have to come back. You know, sometimes it's just like one guy was like, hey, you know, I like what you do, whatever. He's just like, would you want to go out sometime? And I was just like, as long as I can bring my husband, let's do it. You know, so it was me kind of like being funny back, but also saying like, I'm not really interested. I don't know what he would have said if he's like, yeah, I'm game. I'd been like, oh, oopsies. But I take a lot of humor because I don't want to be a big asshole. I think it's
Just a small asshole.
Just a little dainty one.
Little teeny asshole.
It's bleached too. So,
Oh my God.
it's hard for me. It's just so situational, but sometimes you just have to be like, not in it. And it depends on my mood. If I'm already bugged, I'm like, fuck you. And the guy's like, I just looked at you, you know? But I think I have told, here's another fail. Here's another shutdown, or here's a shutdown fail. I used to work as a hostess at a restaurant when I was 16, and it was a Japanese restaurant, so I wore a kimono, and those cling like a motherfucker. Anyway, I got hit on all the time. I was 16. I did not look 16 in everyone's defense, but there was this guy, and he kept looking over and like talking to his friends, but like when I say guy, I mean like he was a full grown, probably 30-something-year-old, you know, I'm 16. Anyway, so I sat them down, and he kind of looked over at me and smiled. So I actually went up to him and touched him on the shoulder. I was like, I'm too young for you, bro. And he was just like, oh, and his whole friends, like all of them said something. They were like, oh. So I was just like, it was obvious that you were trying to say something or whatever, but I had like just shut him down. Anyway, I was so embarrassed that I did that. Like, I guess it wasn't a fail, but I was like, it could have got, what if he wasn't even saying that? What if he was like, hey, ha, she's like got something stuck in her teeth or something. I don't know, but it could have gone so wrong.
It would have been cute either way. Whatever his intention, I think.
I have had girls shut me down, and I was like, I don't even find you attractive.
So
I was being polite.
They were just that into themselves. They were like, you were all, no, I was just wanted my coffee, please.
I've been hit on, or well, like I've been talking to them, and then out of nowhere they'll hit me with it. But just so you know, I have a boyfriend. Fucking good for you. I was trying to get to the bar behind you.
But look where we're coming from. Everyone wants to get in. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, everybody does.
But
Yeah,
really,
no, I totally understand.
Social conditioning has shown us pretty much any man who's talking to you, who's kind and nice, has a motive.
Yeah.
And so sad to think that. I don't want that to be where we're at, but typically that's why, you know.
I think in that case, though, what's happening is they want the validation. They want you to flirt with them, but they don't want to be an asshole to you because they can see maybe that you're a genuinely nice guy. So they don't want to lead you on.
Yeah, and
So
then
that
I
might
just
be
sort of
what's-
get caught off guard. Like, dude, my wife wouldn't find you attractive. I'm not here to flirt with you. So I've got to get her permission too.
Yeah.
What a unique situation. So one of the things that I was grappling with, we talked about it kind of before we started the show, was a genuine compliment to somebody. And I pulled my horns in because you remember Molly the stripper.
Yeah.
She was like, oh yeah, you know, you hear the same compliment so often. You just fucking background noise morons. And so there's this girl at the Arby's that I swing by every once in a while. It was super
Every
cute.
day.
Not every day, just every once in a while. I'm not that heavy. She's super cute bangs. And just the other day I was like, I want to tell her that she has super cute bangs. And then I thought about what Molly the stripper had said. And I was like, fuck.
And then I had to
Just sat
correct
there.
you. It's different when men are trying to flirt with strippers because they're going to strike up a conversation with anything they know. They're not willing to genuinely get to know you. They're just looking at your body. So if you're complimenting or commenting on a tattoo or complimenting a tattoo, they just get a little old. Like, it's just old.
Sure.
And so that's why she was saying, like, they probably make up stories or just, like, make fun of you or whatever.
The next time I go to that Arby's, I'm
But-
complimenting her bangs.
But yeah,
You
like, you
should,
can't. And
'cause-
that's not a sexual thing.
It's such a genuine compliment, and it's something that really women usually say to each other.
Sorry, friend.
And I mean, I would love to hear that from a man if I were her, right? Like, I would
Sure.
love to hear that from a man versus a woman, because I would know that it was probably true, really genuine, because most men don't notice that sort of thing. So, not that I want, men to go out there and like use this information for evil, but if you want to get in good with a woman, like compliment things that a woman would compliment her shoes.
Be genuine too about it.
Notice detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very genuine, and especially the less sexual it kind of seems, the safer and the more you're probably going to actually get a return on that compliment. It's like, oh, Pamela, this is such a darling sweater. Like, that's really cute. Instead of like, your boobs look good in that sweater. It's totally different compliments.
Way to hold your tits up with that shirt bra combo.
Shirt bra. I'm not wearing a bra. Joke's on you. No, I am.
But,
You can see the strap.
but to be fair, if a man said to me, Pamela, that's such a darling sweater.
You shouldn't say it in that way.
Don't do that.
Because my husband actually is really good at that. He actually gives really good compliments to so many people and a lot of females. And you should see their face brighten up because they know this is just a kind, genuine compliment. You know what was the nicest compliment that I like? Well, maybe that's just my drunk brain just thinking how nice it was. I got really drunk the other night on shout out to the other side of the Beehive. They had their 100th episode and invited us out, and I went out and I got drunk. And anyway, I was dancing. I was having a good time. I was in my own little world. And some guy from a whole nother table went up to my husband and told him just how he didn't even say, you're just such a lucky man or something like that. But I don't know, like I said.
Which is a super polite way to say, hey, I'd fuck your wife.
Yeah. And by the way, can I fuck your wife?
He was a small guy too. So I'm like, man, for the balls on you to go up to my husband and say that. Like, I was like, God damn, I feel so good after someone was really brave enough to go up to this big scary dude, and he was wearing one of his puffy vests too, so he looked even bigger. He
does look big, yeah.
Anyway,
Justin is quite the Viking. That's
so
for
it just
sure.
made me feel so
intimidating.
good.
I was just thinking about it when I was in, I guess I wasn't in high school anymore, but I was still hanging out with friends from high school. We ended up at a party, and there was a girl there who, like, everybody thought she was, like, impossible to get with. And there was, like, a sort of underground championship or like contest to see who could flirt and like get this girl's number by the end of the night. And I won. And I literally, like, I just noticed she had done something interesting with her shoelaces. Mm-hmm. And I like pointed it out and I was like, dude, how long did that take? She spent like the next 45 minutes talking to me about her shoes.
And you know what? The hardest girls that you think that are the hardest girls to get with in school and high school or whatever are typically the ones that are just begging for someone because they probably come off standoffish or like out of reach. People have put them on a pedestal either because they're like so pretty or so successful or whatever. They really are craving that validation and genuine validation. So that was probably what it was. It was like, oh, hey, you're not saying nice pants, I want to get in them. It was like, I'm genuinely complimenting you on your shoelaces.
Yeah.
You're safe. You're nice.
And sometimes part of flirting is listening, right? Mm-hmm. So like you just sort of
part of flirting.
And like that's how it started with her. I was like, dude, your shoelaces are awesome. She had like strung them up so they were, they weren't just a regular crisscross. And she just like told me a story about her shoelaces and then her other pair of shoes. And I was like, oh, you like shoes? Oh yeah, I got all these different kind of shoes. And then it was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, how do you work it out? Oh, I got a ton of different wardrobes. And like, she told me her whole life story. And then by the end of the night, she was like, oh, we're basically married. Here's my phone number.
You bring that out in people. Cute. You do. That's a personality thing too, as well.
It's true.
Sometimes you're good at flirting by accident and you don't realize it.
I would say before I really realized, what just a genuine, kind conversation looks like too, I would say I was just trying to be nice. I had no clue how much that was misconstrued as flirting. So then you go off on the other side of that and then you're just an asshole to everyone because you don't want to be flirted with or you're worried that you're leading people on. So, I mean, it really is a dance. Someone flirts with you, flirt back, toss that ball back and forth, and if it all of a sudden stops dead air, move on. I don't know.
Where are we?
Funny flirt flails.
Flirts.
Funny flirt fails. I had to say that slow to get it right.
Funny flirt fails.
Good job.
Whew.
Here we go.
Should we start with
Do
her
it.
story, or should we
maybe
end with
should
her
end
story?
with it. I have a story, but it's not very funny.
Mine's just stupid.
Let's do it.
Not that funny. You guys are bringing
I think,
it up.
I think Pamela should go
Stop
first.
putting it on a pedestal. Pamela, go ahead.
Mine's the least funny, so we'll start with mine. I was back in the day working for a caterer. And so we would go and cater all these like super rich people's homes. And I was like in uniform working, obviously they're working. And this old guy comes up and talks to me. So at the time I was super Mormon, and I've always been super disinterested in old gross men. So he really didn't have a chance, but he just started talking to me, and I can't even remember the conversation, but I told him to, I didn't tell him to go away, but I just like did my, like, you know, kind
I'm
of
working.
the resting bitch face. Like, yeah, like, okay, that's nice. I was totally clueless that he was trying to flirt with me. I found out from someone I was working with later in the night that he was like making bets with people that he was going to get my
Close
number.
the deal.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Creepy. And when
It
you
was-
say you're disinterested in old gross men or gross old men, it's not because they're old. It's that they're
No,
old and sleazy.
I'm married to an old man.
and he's not gross.
He's just not gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so when that's two different things for sure. There's sleazy, creepy.
Yeah.
No.
Just like,
Well, you're objectified at that moment. You are a
Yeah.
prize to be won.
right. No, he was obviously, I say I didn't know why he was talking to me, but I just knew that he like wanted my attention. But I don't know. I was just clueless in the day.
There's also faux flirting. Well, I'm throwing that out there. You can write it down. FAUX.
I have a faux hog. I can spell faux.
Okay, well, I'm spelling it for our listeners in case they didn't know what I was talking about. Where you use flirting as your tool to get something you want. Whether
T-shirts.
that's t-shirts, whether that's a tip at the end of the night, if you're a waitress or something, you use it as, there's obviously ways to abuse that. Flirtation, attention, validation, I would say that there is a line, but in the service industry, it's part of the gig. Like, not that I'm saying you had to do it. No,
Oh,
not
yeah,
at all.
yeah.
But I'm saying if it's like guys were, I remember having like a table full of men or whatever, and I'm
no.
doing, and I'm like,
I agree.
I know how to play this game.
For
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
I flirted a ton when I was actually waiting tables. I remember having this one table with this couple and then a single man. And I ended up like sitting at the table with them, and they stayed after closing. Like everybody was cleaning up. And I don't know why my manager wasn't like, get your ass up. But anyway, and they got so comfortable with me that the single guy next to me grabbed my hand and put it on his hard dick.
Oh,
That is a
You
flirt
have
fail.
told us
that's
that.
assault, brother. Holy shit.
It's assault, right? And I was like, I'm married.
I love it.
How was
Really
the
is.
tip? I mean, the financial tip.
The financial tip is good.
Thank you for clarifying, because I did not follow.
As soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, but so there's a healthy level of that flirtation within that service industry. I think
But there's also kind of an expectation by customers
is.
that you're going to
Customer
flirt
service
back because
is
you
part-
want a tip, so you better flirt with me.
yeah. So you have to dance that line, and unfortunately, too many people take advantage both sides of that in exchange. Anyway, here's my fail. We're here, and it's so dumb. So in the LDS religion, when you're 14, you get to go to youth dances, but you have to be worthy and get this special punch card that your bishop gives you to go. Anyway, it never was
Punch card. I love it.
it really is a punch card. It has like all the dates that they have the dances on.
I didn't know that.
At least maybe when I went, it might have totally changed now, but
Now they just have an app.
yeah, there's something. God, gross. Anyway, I almost got kicked out because my skirt wasn't like longer than my knees. I thought it said to your knees. They wanted it over your knees.
Oh.
At least that was the crotchety old lady that was checking everybody in, which they
Did
do.
she tell you had to wear pantyhose?
No.
Oh, okay.
That might have been.
I think that was a thing at one point in
Yeah.
church
I think it was.
history.
But really, like, that's just a whole part of this culture that I have a hard time with. Anyway, they're
The
checking you in.
pantyhose part?
No, they're just looking at you head to toe. You can't even get in the door unless you're very what they deem appropriate. But anyway, I remember my cousin who's a year older than me, and she was just like, yeah, you know how you flirt with the guys? Like, you know how you dance, you slow dance, the girls have their arms up around the guy's neck, and they usually have the boys, they are not men, these little young boys have their hands around your waist. And she was just like, yeah, you kind of just tickle their neck when you're dancing with them, and you just rub your finger a little bit. And I was like, that's so smart. I have never been to one of these dances. Anyway, it was like a year later, finally, when I went. What I hadn't realized is you should have some type of relationship with these boys. Like, you either have grown up in that ward with them, or they at least know you, not some strange chick.
Not just some random chick tickling my neck all night.
Yep, that was me. I was the creepy girl. So if you went to some ward in South Jordan how many years ago and I was tickling your neck, I'm so sorry. So fucking creepy. It's so embarrassing now to admit. But yeah, I remember one kid was just like, why do you keep touching my neck? And I was like, oh.
I thought I was supposed to.
I'm so sorry. I'm so awkward. I don't know what to do, and my skirt's too short, and I'm just nervous. Anyway, but
Did you keep the Holy Spirit between you and your dancing partner? Always save room for the Holy Spirit.
I'm sure
Leave room for Jesus.
the Holy Spirit had been gone for a long time by the time I was 14. Anyway.
I spent like, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 15 minutes maybe trying to talk to somebody who didn't speak English.
Did you know that they didn't
I had no idea.
Brady.
Okay, I thought
The problem is that you kept talking without response.
I thought they were saying they couldn't hear, not that they couldn't understand.
Were they like pointing at their head and shaking their head?
No idea.
So you just kept getting louder.
I just kept getting louder in this party atmosphere.
But I've done that exact thing where I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Like, I'm lost.
Well, like, holding their hands up.
What language did they speak?
These
I have
are
no idea.
fantastic examples of wait for the ball to be tossed back to you.
I was younger.
Don't chuck the
I
ball
messed
at
up.
their neck.
I don't even remember what I was saying to her, but I think I offered to buy her a drink at first. She was like, just no idea what you're saying there, bud.
So flirting is a tough game. I would say flirting is harder than sex sometimes. Like, how to finesse a flirt, like a real you have to just be good at it. Practice. Flirt with all your friends.
I did try flirting with a deaf girl once.
How'd that work out?
It was all right. I had to talk a little bit slower. She explained to me because she could speak. And then she also did sign while she spoke, which actually kind of helped me a little bit. But I had to speak slower so she could read my lips. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Touch is huge in that world. You know, because they're used to like people tapping them on the shoulder, like,
To
hey,
get their
I'm
attention.
behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another, in the deaf community. I know a lot of little tips. I don't know, but I feel like we covered a lot for flirting. But I mean, it's a fun thing when it's done well. It can be really fun. It fuels both people. Both parties are walking away feeling better about themselves or walking away together. I was a successful flirt. Whether it's just a look across the room or if it was closing the deal and getting someone's number,
Yeah.
which is really not a number anymore.
It's not.
Do you just try for a number? Now you're just pretty much trying for the
Social media? What are you trying for?
I don't know.
So I
don't
feel
know.
like-
I've been out of the game.
What
for a
does it
minute.
mean to close a flirt?
If I'm straight up into somebody, I want your number. But if I'm not 100%, like if I'm worried about scaring you off, I'll get your Facebook, or not your Facebook. I'll get your Twitter, your email.
Isn't it better to get someone's social media than their number because you can stalk them a little?
Yeah, I
and
wanna know
figure
who's-
out if they're really an appropriate match.
I guess maybe that's not ever my intent to stalk. Maybe it should be though. Maybe
But
I
you
should
got
be
a
a little bit
little bit
more into
more.
the research.
I think stalking is always a good idea.
Healthy.
You
A
heard it
healthy
here.
level of social media stalking is always smart. Yeah, anytime
It's not a bad idea to look into people.
I remember like online dating and they're like, yeah, I don't have a Facebook. And I'm like, oop, nope, I can't. Either you do and you don't want people to know, or like
Or
I
you're
just-
too weird to have Facebook.
I don't have
Brady.
Facebook.
Yeah, but you have Twitter and all sorts of other things. You still have a social media presence.
Fuck Facebook.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine, Brady.
I'm just kidding. I love
Speaking
you
of
guys.
Okay.
Facebook, you can find the Salty Sex Cast. We are on Facebook.
And Twitter at Salty Sex Cast.
And Patreon. And you can't search us on Patreon. You have to type the URL in.
Yeah.
And it is patreon.com/saltysexcast.
And they're strict as hell on there. I try to post a photo of us like saying like Happy New Year, you know, and we're like, you see a little bit of skin, but whatever. Like we're not nude. And it was like, this may have adult content.
But we are in adult content. I thought that we
Our
could.
whole page is adult content, Patreon.
I don't understand. Were you able to post the boob picture?
Well, I just sent that straight. Like,
Oh, that's right. You
They-
sent it through Messenger. Or whatever.
and it wasn't like the picture because they wanted like a level of consent within that photo. So I sent them the link to our Gmail or our Google.
So they didn't have to see it if they didn't want to.
Exactly. Like you have
That's
to actually,
brilliant.
and it said click on this link to see our 10,000 downloads in real life. I have no clue what I said, but it was, you know, again, it was consent.
Way to flirt online.
Thanks. Consent.
Being a little
is sexy. Thanks. I don't know why I'm singing tonight. This is really gross. I need to be done. And you can email us at saltysexcast. We love to hear your thoughts. Please share our podcast with others. Write us a review. I don't know. Give us some stars or something. Depends on the platform you listen to us on, if you can or can't. But
Send
we
us
love
pictures
that
of your dog.
Flirt with us over stars on
If you really like us, leave reviews on multiple
reviews.
platforms.
That's what I was thinking of. Yes, I ruined that flirt because I couldn't think of a word. Wonder how many times I've done
That was a flirt.
that. Was a flirt. Thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, we need an update on our sex resolution tallies,
2.
folks. Brady at his
I'm gonna
eating
eat more
out.
pussy. I'm gonna eat more pussy too.
2. Pamela, any?
No DP.
That's fine. That's some prep work
It
Yeah.
really is like finding the right person
and the time.
is not easy. Oh, I'll make the time.
That's fantastic.
Wow, the look on your face. You look like a lion that had just seen like a gazelle trip.
She's like, I'm coming for you.
Oh, I'll find the time.
I'm already full now, but I'll come get you. And then I'm at 1 for my self pleasure.
Way to go, girl.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Proud of you.
Thank you. And like we said, we're not competing with each other. We're just checking in with each other because obviously you cannot. If your
It's accountability.
pleasure tally was your DP tally, that would be a little slightly alarming. Be worried. Anyway, thank
I
you
love
for
hanging out with
joining
you
us
guys.
today.
We love hanging out with you, Brady. Thank you for doing this with us.
To all of our listeners, I hope you have a fantastic week. We'll
And
see you next week.
Stay sexy.
And salty.
Bye.
Yeah. And what's puberty?
Puberty? Well, puberty's a lot of things. Here's the piece.
When you hear about it first, it sounds very strange.
Oh, if it really bothers you, you should see a doctor. Then at puberty, certain glands begin to work, and our bodies begin to change. It enlarges the penis itself.
And there's a central opening between those two, which is called the vagina.
The sex education you wish you had in high school.
Maybe a diagram will help.